Hi everyone, it's Lou from CraftStash. Now today I'd like to show you a really fun Christmas project. This is absolutely perfect for going on the front of your handmade cards. It makes a beautiful background, but alternatively, and what I'm going to be doing today, is creating some postcards that are perfect to go either to or from Santa. So if you know somebody who likes to write letters to Santa, this is going to be ideal. I'm going to do a set of 3 of these, and then all 3 will be put into a custom made and decorated box to gift to a family, and the children can all write their letters to Santa on them and post them. Alternatively, if you like to return letters from Santa, you can do the same too. Now this all comes as part of my brand new vintage Christmas collection from Textures, and throughout the video I will be showing you other elements from the collection as well. You'll find it all exclusively at CraftStash and the details are all down below for you. Okay, let's get started with this tutorial. So the stamp set that I'm going to be focusing on is this one. It is the vintage Christmas stamp set and it comes in 2 parts. We've got the postcard image here that I spoke about earlier, and this is the one I'm going to be focusing on today. It is beautiful imagery of a vintage Christmas postcard, lots of postage stamps laid in there and collaged up. We're going to have fun with picking out the detail around the edge and making that a different colour. But we also have included with this stamp set the street lamp and the beautiful music notes in the background. This is a completely separate stamp and is beautiful as a silhouette on a nice bright coloured background. Now something else from CraftStash that I'm going to be utilising, and it is these postcards. These are designed by the Frugal Crafter. They actually come as part of a set from her watercolour florals collection, but alternatively you can print your own off, or you could probably buy them just as blank postcards that you decorate. This is perfect because it's actually made of watercolour cardstock, so I can then directly stamp and watercolour onto these. So using my stamping platform, this is the Creative Craft Products one, I'm going to put my first postcard into the stamp platform. I'm going to make a note of where the top of the card is because I will need to trim this down ever so slightly. If we look at the size of the stamp compared to the size of the postcard, we need to lose a little bit of the depth. So I'm going to make sure that I know that that's the top, and I'm going to just place that in on there. I've got a sticky grid inside my stamp platform, and this just allows me to have perfect stamping and positioning every time because nothing's going to move. And if the paper's a little bit small and I can't fit my magnets on, then this holds it all still for me. So then I'm going to put my stamp on here and I'm going to place it near the top, ensuring that the side borders and the top border are equal. I'm not worried about the bottom because, as I say, I can trim a little bit of that away. So first of all, I'm going to stamp with my Memento ink. This is going to get me a lovely, clear and crisp image, but I'm also going to then be able to apply my watercolours afterwards, which is what I want to be doing. So just apply my ink all over the stamp. Because we're going on to a textured watercolour paper, you may find it a good idea to do this a couple of times, which is one of the benefits of having a stamp platform. If you like a distressed look, you can leave it. I'll go over it just once more, just some of the detail in the centre there. But to be honest, that's actually a really nice image as it is. Now I'm not going to move my paper and I'm not going to move my stamp at all to do the next stage. I am going to wipe away the black ink because I'm done with that now. And I'm going to ensure this is fully dry. So I'm now going to take my Versamarker pen. This is going to allow me to more accurately just capture some of the details for some white embossing. So around the edge of the design, we've got these lines, these squares almost, and I'm just going to go over each of those in the stamp platform with my pen. Now I'm not worried about this being too precise, but I don't want to capture any of the detail in the middle. So this is why I'm using a pen. Now you don't need to work too quickly with this because the ink will sit on the stamp for rather a long time before that dries and can't be transferred. So take your time, just adding a good layer of ink to each of these shapes around the edge. I think that's all of them. and then transfer that over to your stamped image again. And don't forget, you don't want to be moving your stamp or your cardstock between the two impressions, otherwise you're going to end up with a very wonky image. So now I've transferred that clear ink also, I'm going to come to my white embossing powder, sprinkle this all over. And tap off the excess into some cardstock. If you find some of your ink was still a little bit damp and has caught onto some of the embossing powder there, you can just use a brush and gently tap that away. I've got a little bit on this side that has, but the rest all looks perfectly clean and clear, and I've just got the powder over that grid that I wanted. So now to heat set that. So you may be thinking, why did I just go over those in white? Because we can hardly see them now, and that's because we're going to be adding lots of watercolor and ink, and I wanted these to stand out as white rather than blend into the background as black. So I wanted that sort of dual tone there. So now I'm going to trim off the bottom here, and that's just going to take this bottom strip off. So now you can get creative with your colour. I like to bring in my watercolours here, and they could be a watercolour palette, watercolour inks, you can even use your distress inks and such. So to get started, I'm going to be using a paint palette of solid watercolours here, and I'm going to give them all a little bit of a spritz because I'm not sure yet which colours I'm going to use. And I'm going to spritz water all over my postcard here. And I'm going to pick up some brown watercolour on the edge of my brush and just run it along the edge of the paper. So this is going to start giving us a bit of a vintage look. So just run it across along there, and then once I've done each edge, I'll give that another spritz of water, and you'll be able to see how that really starts to fade into the postcard. At this stage, I want to let that just sit because I want the watercolours to do its own thing, and I don't want to be manipulating it too much. Now that's dry, I need to add some blues and reds to really make this pop. I'm going to start with a red, and I'm going to go with quite a vintage red here, and I'm going to go on Santa's hat. So spritzing that with water first before picking up some red and just dipping it in around the hat. Now I'm not going to worry about keeping within the lines here too much because I'm actually quite happy for that to run and bleed a bit. So a bit of a spritz around there, and then maybe the same around this postmark a little bit, and spritz here too. I'm going to clean off my brush, and I'm going to pick a blue. There's a lovely one here to do just the same with as well. So I've got a couple of areas that I'm going to apply the blue to, particularly this strip here, maybe the stamp as well because we have a snowman stamp. And again, I'm going to spritz each of these with water to make them run a little. Let's just mop that bit up a touch, just so that the colour is more focused where we need it. Now time to really make those white areas pop, and I'm going to run a hand painted red line along the bottom and around the rest of the border as well. So this looks a little bit harsh at the moment, but I will also spritz this out too. So now I've got my postcards, I'm going to make myself a little gift box to put with them, and I'm going to be using the Creative Craft Products envelope maker. I'm actually going to be making a box envelope. So you want to have a look at the guide that comes with the Creative Craft Products board, and you can just kind of figure out which of these measurements are best for the envelopes or box that you want to create. So I think for me, the 6.5 inch by 4 inch by 1/2 inch depth is going to be absolutely perfect. I need to start with paper size of 9 by 9 inches. I've actually decided to switch up for a brighter red cardstock to make it more fun, but I'm just going to use my Creative Craft Products notch and corner punch as well. This is just going to help me get everything that I need nice and neat around the envelope box. Now, of course, you can decorate your envelope in any way you wish, but it's now perfect for you to pop your postcards inside and gift to somebody so that they could send Santa letters to or from, either way, and really make the most of the festive season, getting in the spirit and making a gift of what you create. Now, as well as the vintage Christmas stamp set that we've been looking at, there's lots of other items too. So we have got 2 embossing folders. These are both 3D embossing folders, creating beautiful textured images. So we've got the plaid and we've got the knitted pattern. We've then also got some sentiments here. So these are 2 large sentiment dies, Season's Greetings, Merry Christmas, and each comes with a drop shadow. We also have the fantastic layering stencils. I love these. There's 4 layers to them to create this kind of holly dimensional image, and that's at A5. And we also have these beautiful ephemera. So the ephemera is all music themed. So you've got ephemera, but you've also got sheet music and such in there as well on entire sheets. So it's not all just your die cut pieces there. And lastly, for me, the star of the show with this entire collection is the vintage Christmas, the large lantern die set. This is 10 centimeters tall. You will find, if not already shortly, another tutorial using this die set on the CraftStash YouTube channel. There's lots to do with this one. It's just so much fun. So there's everything in the vintage Christmas collection. Hopefully you can make your own Santa postcards at home as well and give them to your friends and family, or send them off yourself. Let me know in the comments if this is a fun idea that you'll be trying, and I'll see you again very soon. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.